This is one of the hardest episodes I've done. This is Bill Gross Probate Weekly because this is my coach. This is the guy that helped me launch my probate business about 6 years ago. And we're talking to get ready to start, and we're having more fun, and I'm learning more there than recording. I said, stop, we got to record this. I'm really excited to have with me a coach, mentor, mastermind at networking, mastermind at lead generation, master of YouTube, Casey Eberhart. Casey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Awesome, Bill. I'm so thrilled. I've been so excited about this for the last few weeks that our schedules actually aligned, and we can jump on and have this great conversation. I think it's going to really help folks for sure.
And we're really going to talk about how to generate business. You know, in a market where there's uncertainty, changes, even those of us, I'm doing really well in my business, but I'm always looking to get more because more leads give me more opportunity to pick better leads and do the better business I want. So really, does lead generation ever go out of style?
No, in fact, it's even more important today than it was, I would say, even 3 years ago or 4 years ago or 5 years ago, because what we're finding in kind of every business, but real estate in particular, is there's all kinds of FUD going on, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? And that goes anywhere from the markets to interest rates to what the Fed's going to do and what the new administration is going to do and what your local municipality is going to do. Are they going to do rent control or not rent control and all of this stuff. And at the end of the day, Bill, one of the things that I've always said was that there's a really easy recipe for business. Build a tribe, engage a tribe, market to the tribe.
Well, hold on one second. Hold on. Okay, so he's just a fountain of information. It's a fire hose. Okay, so I want to make sure you get fire hose here. He has a program where you can get into and get the whole thing and get it downloaded, and it's a couple of days long and all that stuff. But let's start off because I know the audience I deal with, and we're a little slow picking up on some of this. So we have to speak a little slower for real estate agents sometimes and for other people. So let me start from the beginning. I want to talk about the lessons I learned from you that I put into my business, that when I started 6 years ago with not one deal, not one lead, got back into real estate sales from zero, built a business that's fantastic for me today. Lesson one.
Well, Bill, before you even say lesson one, I think it is important for everybody to understand that you made a conscious decision about what we're about to talk to. This wasn't by happenstance. This wasn't by chance.
Yes.
You made the decision that you were going to take control of your business and run your real estate business like it's a business. Yes. And not like it's a reactive business, that you are going to be proactive. So with that context, if an agent is just waiting for stuff to show up, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the day you made the conscious decision that you were going to take back the control and put the control back in your own and take back the power. That's when the game changed.
Yeah, I didn't want to be an agent working for a commission for a company, or an attorney working for a law firm for a salary, or a salesperson working for a vendor. I want to run my own business. Now, sometimes we run a business while we work for a business, and there's a way to do that too. But I wanted to be in control of it. I wanted to create my own destiny. I wanted to design the life that I wanted. And as a result, I have what I have now, and it's been fantastic and life-changing. So we'll start with the beginning, which is number one. And this is one that I'm sure it must drive you nuts too. I just want to beat people in the head with this one. Start with the people that already know, like, and trust you. Start with your network. I've been in your training, how many times? Online, a lot, and in person a lot, where you tell people you have the exercise, pull out your phone and text. I forget how many people, 5 people or something. It's not hard.
It's super easy. Just take out your phone and text people for 5 minutes solid every day. There you go. That are back in your phone. I happen to go way back in my phone, so I re-engage with all those people. And it's not a sales tool. It's not, hey, I'm selling a house. It's not, here's my listing. It's not, here's the interest rate. It's just a connection point. Because, Bill, I'm going to add one more. It's people need to know, like, and trust you. But there's a fourth one that's really important. That is that they need to remember you. Right? I just literally I acquired a giant Facebook group, and that Facebook group came from one of these texting exercises, because I used to tell these people all the time that I buy and acquire Facebook groups. I have not talked to the guy that brought the deal to me in over 2 years. They have to remember you. And the only way they're going to remember us is if we're in front of them at some point.
But people, and I know this, are so hesitant to start with the people they know already. They somehow imagine, but the new leads are going to be better. The new people, I'm going to spend money with Zillow. I'm going to sell my soul to Zillow, and they're going to give me the magic business and going to keep me going forever, or other lead generation in other industries. And the reality is your program is all about, yes, we add new people in the bucket. Yes, that's part of the deal. But all you're doing is putting more people in the bucket that you're engaging with. You've got to start with the ones you know already, because those are already there and they're free, right?
Well, Bill, at the end of the day, you were in real estate, right? I can throw a rock out my window and hit probably 30 agents in the head, right? And at the end of the day, the reality is, if as an agent, what you're doing is so good and your systems are so powerful and you've got this whole thing dialed in, whether it's your listing appointments and how you're going to market a house, or how you're going to work with a first-time home buyer, or how you're going to work somebody through probate, if your system is so amazing that it's going to work for a complete stranger, aren't you being a little selfish not sharing that awesomeness with the people that you already know?
Yeah. That's another way to look at it. And I think, so really it's a tacit admission that I don't think I'm valuable, because if I don't think I'm valuable, I don't reach out to people I know. And the antidote to that is, well, get valuable. Like, learn something that's worthy of sharing with people you know, like, trust, and that will remember you about that material, whatever that is. Learn something of value for people and share that with them.
Well, that could go on a whole nother thing, because I teach this philosophy, ILT: invest, learn, teach. Invest time, energy, money, and resources in learning something. Invest, learn it, turn around and teach it. It's also a way that we understand it even better ourselves. Yeah. But Bill, before we go too deep on that, this first point is so incredibly important to understand, that at the end of the day, we as human beings crave connection and connectivity. I sometimes say that connectivity is today's new currency, right? And if you're meeting a stranger, that connectivity starts. But if you've got somebody that you go to church with, or synagogue with, or you go to a sports club or a bridge club or a poker club or whatever, those connection points are already there. The other thing that's really important to understand, and I hear this from agents like all day long, I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound spammy. I don't want to send out an email because I don't like getting emails. Well, here's the thing. That is, again, a tacit admission that you don't value yourself. And here's why. I get emails every single day from a few people. Literally, they send me an email every single day. I open every single one. I read every word, every email. Wow. There's a bunch of people that don't provide value, that are just trying to spam, that are just trying to sound salesy, that are just trying to get me into their new widget, their new course, their this or that. And I don't find value in that. So the lesson is, if you actually provide value to a group of people that value what you bring to the marketplace, then they are thirsty for the water of value that you are bringing to them. If you don't provide value and you just send me once a month that I need to clean out my dryer vent and a vinaigrette recipe, then it is of no value. And one of the challenges I have, a lot of stuff that our agents are putting out is kind of this regurgitated no value to the marketplace, meaning a guy like me, or a house flipper, or somebody that's dealing with the death of a loved one that's going to go through probate or whatever. Right. So there is no value. So go learn some cool stuff. Get on a podcast like this. Like, you could come on this podcast every time Bill drops an episode, figure out something that he talks about, because all he does is drop gold all over the floor. Pick it up, go off, turn around, teach it, send an email to your list and say, hey, I was listening to Bill's podcast on, Probate Weekly, and here's the 3 things I took away from it. You would get so much play out of promoting and taking away the scary for people that are your customers. It will draw them to you like moths to a flame. But we have this, like, it's like we got to get the cycle started.
So on this point, I'm embarrassed to admit this story about myself, and it's true. So I built up an email list over the years, and I was sending it out to about 4,000 people a week, and I had a great open rate of about 30%. So 4,000 people, 30% is about 1,200 people were opening the email. Some were watching videos, some were commenting, engaging with me. But in my database, I had another 4,000. I had labeled the main 4,000 my center of influence. The other 4,000, I didn't have a label what they were, but I accumulated in my program. I use MailChimp. Who the hell are all these people? I have 4,000 people. So I took the exact same email I send to my COI, the exact same subject line, it's called A/B split, but sent it to that other group that was not in my COI. It had the exact same open ratio, which means that I had another 1,200 people that were glad to open my email for whatever reason, because they found value in what I was writing. Now, they may not find value in your writing or somebody else's writing, but they liked what I was saying and wanted to see more of it, or at least some of them did. And so it just told me so much about valuing myself and then working harder at creating value. If you don't think you create good value, work harder, create better value, so people want that. So it's such an important thing. And I think buying other people's canned, I don't know what you call those things, autoresponders, and all, like, really, you're going to use AI to do that? Really, you're going to have some computer in China autorespond my client, an attorney I work with? They're going to engage with them to get them to work with me as a real estate agent? Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. As we go further in time, it takes more and more minutes of somebody getting to know us before they know us, before they like us, before they trust us, and before they remember us. At last count, on a low-end trust point, okay, and I'm talking a low-end trust point, it's taking upwards of 700 minutes in front of somebody before they will consider talking to you about whatever it is you're selling. Wow. Now, let's take that to the real estate world. That means that if you take 700 minutes and you divide it by 60 minutes, that means that it's taking about 12 hours of you having interaction with somebody before they continue. So where do you do that? Okay, so some of you are going to a BNI chapter. Okay, there's 52 hours a year of you being in the same room with the same 15 people. You can go to your chamber. You can go to your chamber meetings, and you've got 12 meetings a year that you've got an hour or so in contact with these people. You've got your synagogue or your church that you're going to once a week. So let's add another 52 hours there. The reality is that your email and your videos on YouTube are where people are consuming and getting to know you in a one-on-one environment. Bill, I remember the day you made the decision. I remember you calling me and going, okay, what do we do? And one of the first things we started talking about was doing video, whether it was Facebook Live, whether it was putting them on Instagram, but it is the connection so that you can see how people are acting. You can see their mannerisms, right? There are people that think I'm really cool, and there are people that I would never do business with. I literally had an appointment with an attorney, and 10 minutes in, she said, you know what? I'm going to stop you right now. You're not a good fit for me. And I was really agitated in the beginning. And then I called her back afterwards, and I go, I just really want to thank you, because it was really great and refreshing to have somebody not try to continuously sell me, knowing that I'm not the right fit.
Right.
But that's because she had watched a ton of video on me. She knew all about me before we ever hopped on a call.
Right.
Like, people, when they called Bill, right before we jumped on, Bill said, well, my business is so awesome that really right now I'm doing mostly inbound appointments. Well, that doesn't happen by accident. That is completely on purpose, with intention, because we push out a bunch of content, let people get to know Bill. They get to know how his mannerisms. They get to know, because he brings in his little personality stuff. He talks about his family and this stuff. He's helping clients, so that people, by the time they're like, yeah, you know what? I need somebody in probate to help me, or I'm an agent and I need to join a new team. Like, who are you going to call?
Right.
So, Bill. You go schedule an appointment. Bill gets on a phone. You already know him.
Right.
It's now him getting to know you and how he can serve you better. And I'll let you go, because I could go down an entire rabbit hole.
Yeah. There's a whole thing, there's a whole world on that. And then the next lesson learned, which you just kind of covered quickly, but I'm going to go back and go a little deeper on, is the power of networking events. One thing I learned by going to networking events is there are strategies and tactics to make your time as valuable as possible. There's just showing up and eating lunch, and you kind of get the reward for showing up and eating lunch. And then there's being purposeful. And as a result, what I found was, if I went 3 times, people thought I was there 10 times. If I went there 10 times, they thought I was there for like 5 years. It's amazing when you're purposeful and touch people, the cumulative impact of a networking event in person or online, but in person particularly is one of the areas I think you excel at, that you have some unique tactics and strategies that make that investment of time valuable rather than just a social hour.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could talk about this for for
hours. We could do hours on network events.
I'll give you guys some easy things. Okay. Easy thing. Number one is if you're going to an event where there is a speaker and that speaker has a book, do 5 minutes of research ahead of time and go buy 3 copies of the guy or the gal's book. Go in with a Sharpie, go up before they go on stage and just say, hey, Bill, I bought 3 copies of your book. I can't wait for you to share today. Would you autograph 3 of these? Number one, I want you to autograph one to me because I think it's awesome. I can't wait to read it. Second one is I have your ideal client as one of my clients or somebody in my network. I'm going to have you autograph the book to her so I can send it to her because I just think it'd be a good fit. And then third, I'm going to have you autograph it generically, and I'm going to give it to the organizers and let them raffle it off. See if you can generate some more leads and some more buzz about your book. There is no way that speaker is not going to highlight you from the front of the room. It just isn't going to happen. And if they do, they're a terrible speaker and they're broken, and you won't see them ever again. That's number one, right?
But the pros they're going to make an advertisement about you in the middle of their speech. It's really uncomfortable. It's so good.
It is. Number two, when you go into an event, there are only a few people that you really need to connect with on a deeper level. And I'll give you these, and then once you're connected with them, then go play around and do whatever you want. But let's be intentional on purpose. Number one, I want to know the organizers. Who's running the show? Yeah. Who's the guy or the gal that's running the show? They know everybody in the room. They have the most influence in the room. They are the ones that can be connection points. So organizers, okay? Speakers, next up. Number three, the people that are in the room that are clearly the influencers. And I almost hate to use that word because it's so overused, but who are the people that are in the room that you can look at to go, they know everybody in the room. This is the gal. This is the guy that knows everybody in the room. And then it's actually very simple, you guys. Go get a 5-minute conversation with him. I have a whole little process that I do. So let's say I meet Bill at an event. He's clearly an influencer. People are talking to him, shaking hands. I'm like, hey, Bill, what's going on? How can I help you? What can I do to help you grow your business? I actually try not to say what I do at events, to be honest, but because it's all about them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going through a process. I'm going to say, Bill, hey, let's take a selfie. We'll take a selfie. And then what I'm going to say, hey, let me send this picture over to you. And I open up my phone and I hand Bill my phone. What is Bill going to do? He is going to take the phone and put his phone number in it. Then I send Bill a message. Hey, Bill, it's Casey Eberhart. You and I met at the Sizzler Real Estate Investor Meeting in Van Nuys, Wednesday, April 1st. Really excited to get to know you better. Okay, boom. And I hit send. I'm going to then verify that he has that in his phone. That way he can't give me a wrong number, right? Now, the other reason I did that is I said my name and how it was spelled. So when he looks me up later, or he's got some context when I go back and I text him. And earlier we talked about texting people for 5 minutes. There are hundreds of people in my phone that I've done that for. I don't remember them from Adam. Yeah. But when I send them and I go back and I send them a message, now I see a picture of us. So it brings it back for me. Also, where did we meet him? Boom. But when I send them a message, that now connects them to where we met. It connects them back to me. And we've got a facial recognition.
Right.
Now, if you really want to take this on steroids and you're really like on purpose, within 2 or 3 days, send that same person a video text. And that video text is essentially the same thing. Hey, Bill, this is Casey Eberhart. Hey, people spell my name EV, but it's actually E-B as in boy, E-R-H-A-R-T. We met at the Sizzler. We had a great time. Hey, I just wanted to reach back out and say it's really great to get to know you. And I know that you were talking about your Probate Weekly podcast and asked me if there were any other guests that I could bring to the show. Hey, ping me back if you're still looking for guests. I'd like to find somebody I can send over. Boom. The reason I do that is that video text, now when he sees the picture, he's where we met. Now he's got a video perspective. I promise you guys, this is how the influencers, or this is how influence is brokered at these meetings. It's whose network can you get into? Because let's look at, if we just did that next week or next month, we go back to the same event. Bill is now going to make a beeline for me. Number one. Number two, as an organizer, if I'm an agent and I go into a room and there's 13 agents in there and I want to meet, the attorney over here, all I have to do is go to the organizer. Hey, John, can you go introduce me to that attorney? Now the organizer is going to be the one that walks you up and makes that introduction. You've just outperformed all the other agents that are in that room trying to get to that attorney.
Because he loves you, because he gets you, because he wants to share you as a resource. Not that he owes you a favor, not that he has to do it because you just sold him and closed him on some stupid procedure, because it's a natural thing to want to give to people who give to you and make you feel good. It's just a natural process.
Yeah. And I'll give you guys one more that I just think is really powerful, these networking groups. I'm going to tell you ahead of time that 99.9% of people will not ever do this. I will also tell you that it is 100% effective. And I will also tell you that the first few times you do it, it's going to be incredibly uncomfortable. But here it goes. When you get to an event, you're trying to find the speaker, the organizer, somebody of influence. Maybe you've got a client in the room. Maybe you've got a past client in the room. Maybe you've just got somebody that you just met that you think is really interesting in the room, but that you want to work with, right? And so at some point, they're going to ding a fork on a glass and everybody's going to give their 30-second commercial. I love the fact they say, come here and don't try to sell everybody, but then they call it a commercial where you're supposed to stand up and basically sell yourself to a bunch of people that are not there listening to you because they're either freaked out that they have to talk on a microphone, they're not prepared on what to say, they've got stage fright, or they're just going to vomit up, work with me, and nobody's going to really care, right? So what you do is you stand up and you go, hey, good morning, everybody. I am super excited to be here at the Breakfast Club this morning. My name is Bill Gross, but you know what? Today, I just met, Yvonne Tarulli over here. Yvonne, where are you? Raise your hand. Yeah, she's with State Farm Insurance, and she's absolutely awesome. I was talking to her earlier, and she's built an incredible business working with families, which just so happens to be the people I work with as well. But she's working with families to get them covered in these crazy times. So, Yvonne, where are you? If you guys need insurance, please go talk to Yvonne, and you sit down. It is not about you. Nobody is listening to you except Yvonne and the people that are smart enough to go, how do I get Bill to do that about me? How do I get Casey to stand up and do that for me?
It's funny when you go to one of Casey's events, not everybody, but like half the room does that. And you're like, this is kind of interesting. Like it's different, it's weird, but it's also interesting because what you're doing instead of pitching yourself, it's hard to brag about yourself and not sound braggadocious. But when you brag about somebody else, you're just sharing a resource that people appreciate. And it's a much more natural process.
Well, Bill, let's go back to something you said. So when we try to get agents to send out emails, right? The problem is they don't know what to send. They don't know. Then they feel salesy and spammy. What if, as an agent, you found a resource, whether it's a book, it's a video, it's a YouTube channel, it's a networking event, it's somebody you met at a networking event, and you just wrote an email like you were writing it to your best friend recommending that resource?
There you go. We all have that. We all have those places, people, things, services, tools, articles we like. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for that at all. Okay. So, and one last thing on networking events, if I can add one piece to this, is I would say that I learned from going to your events is if you're going to go, like for me, I live in West LA. So to get to the event, most commonly I see Casey at is in the Valley. So that's like 40 minutes each way on average. So it's an hour and 20-minute drive time. I'm going to be there for about an hour and a half. So it's about a 3-hour investment of my time, right? And my time, I try to bill my time at $400 an hour. So I think of that as like a $12 investment. If I get there 15 minutes early, though, the only person there is the organizer and or the speaker and or maybe one or two other people. I get to meet them before everybody else does. If you wait till if you're strolling 2 minutes late, the organizer's busy. They don't want to talk to you. They're organizing. They're frazzled. Same with the speaker. They're getting ready to speak or whatever. So if you get there 15 minutes earlier and or plan to stay 15 minutes late, you get some one-on-one time that you otherwise going to get. And you're investing the 3 or 4 hours for the event. Why not spend an extra 15 minutes and be on time, which is 15 minutes early in my book?
Yeah, it's 100%. And being able to recognize and understand, and I hope we get a chance to spend a tiny bit of time on video, but yes, you go to an event, find the people in your city that you're meeting with, that you're at your chamber event or your BNI chapter with, or wherever, your synagogue, your church, whatever event you're going to, turn your camera on and record a quick 3 minutes, like, hey, this is what this person does. I'd love to be able to share this with my network. Come in, drop it on YouTube. And now people that are searching for that product or that resource are going to hit your channel. You're also going to be known as the man or the woman that you're
there. You're there. You have the phone. It costs nothing. You're already there. You're dressed up. However you're dressed.
I'll tell you. I'm going to give you 2 like real estate agent, very specific things that you guys could all be doing on video right now that are so it's so freakishly easy that it's kind of mind bending how many people don't do it, which is a great opportunity for those folks that are like intentional on purpose. Number one, every time you go look at an open house, take out your phone and do a walkthrough on Facebook Live, or take a phone out, a walkthrough.
Boom.
Right? Even if you don't have one to do for the day, but you're walking your dog, or you're out on a walk, right? And you drive by a house, or you walk by a house, and you're like, wow, I really like the mailbox. I really like the front yard. I really like that they painted the door red. Get out, say, hey, if I were selling this house and I was listing this house, here are the 3 things I would do to change to make more money. Boom, I'd paint the door red. Boom, I'd get upgraded address labels. Boom, I would put some fresh beauty bark down and purple daisies. The reason why I like purple daisies is it's color of trust, blah, 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 blah. Boom, you got to tell people what it is you're doing and how you can get involved in that. The second thing is, and this is a this is one that I just cannot wrap my head around, why for some reason in the real estate agent world, this is not a thing. I just honest to God don't understand it. You guys go out and spend $500-$600 to have video made of a listing. So I sold a house a couple years ago. Realtor paid $600 to have a professional photographer come in there and do a video. And there were drone shots, and they did a drone up the stairs. It was a whole cool thing, right? And then the house sold. And then the video went to Nowheresville. Right. Like, why is that not on your YouTube channel that just said, hey, listed here. Here's what's available in Los Angeles. Here's what's available in Birmingham. Here's what's available past viewings, and use the video that you've paid and invested in. That's gorgeous video, and say, hey, if you want us to list your house, we'd love to do it, but you'll see how we stage our houses by watching some of these videos. Again, it's utilizing assets that are given to us already, and all this, the pictures, like the number of, oh my goodness, the number of agents that I see will go pay a photographer a bunch of money to have pictures taken for houses that are for sale. Yeah. And then they post them all as 37 pictures in one Instagram post. Right. I mean, right. Every single day you should be posting pictures of how you stage a house, why you like the house, what the thing is on the house. It is, you guys are you're investing in and paying for more professionally built content than almost any other profession I work with.
And not using it.
And never using it. It's just mind-blowing to me.
One picture a day, because some people love bathrooms, some like kitchens, some like front yards, some like backyards. Why put 37 photos? They're not going to see, if they don't like the first photo, they're not going to watch the other 36 versus your 36 chances. And I will tell you, as you know, I'm a probate specialist. My 2 best performing videos were, one day I went to a public auction for a probate, and there's a bunch of people outside, and the thing was supposed to start like at 12, and it's like 12:15, they're running late. I said, I just video this. Like I'm at an auction, there's a bunch of people here. It was on a public street, so I didn't need the guy's permission. In fact, the realtor said to stop. I said, no, it's a public street. It's a public auction. By definition, I can video it. And I think I got like 6,000 views. It was amazing for me at the time. And the other one is when I go to court.
Whoa. This is so important. I need you guys to all hear what he just said. And I'm going to use myself as an example. Okay. What Bill did there, he literally went public street, public auction. He's in the probate world. Do you know what probably people are asking before they have to go through a probate?
What's an auction like?
What's an auction like? I want to start an investment portfolio in tax liens and tax deeds. And one of the things I want to do is go to auctions.
Yes.
I am obsessed with what an auction actually looks like. This is funny because
it is interesting. It is exciting.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to invest in things I don't know. I want to be able to learn. I now have a video that I can go learn through the point of view of somebody that's a specialist in this. Like, huzzah.
It's the only one. You know what's really funny is last I checked, it's the only public auction video in LA County on YouTube. I don't know why, they do probably 10 a month. I don't know why everyone isn't videoed. It's just me. And the other one is I go to court. And so again, you drive all the way down to court. You got to put a suit and tie on. You got to wait around a long time. So it's about 3 hour investment of time. So I just shoot a short video from the courthouse steps. You can't shoot video in the courthouse. They don't allow that for legal reasons. Okay, but you can do on the steps. And it's kind of interesting. Like the courthouse kind of looks impressive, and the pillars and all that kind of stuff. And people love those videos. It's amazing. I have to always remember when I go to court, take a quick video because people like that stuff. I'm already there. It costs me nothing. I already have the phone. It's already in my pocket. Okay.
Bill, this is exactly this. This is like assignment 101 for you guys. If you go to court or you go to open houses or
anything,
it is the power is in your hand. And all I have to do is ask you how you consume content and create the content that you want to consume.
Yes.
If I could wave a magic wand and say to Bill, go down to the courthouse. And I know your plan is to meet 5 people there every day, whether it's an attorney, a CPA, somebody going through probate, a judge, whatever. I don't care if it's the barista at the espresso maker machine.
Because they have a house to sell. Sometimes that's why they're at court.
You go outside as soon as you're done, turn your camera on. Hey, you guys, today I'm at the LA County Courthouse. I just met the most fantastic CPA. And one of the conversations that we were having was the difference between this law and this law. And so here's what he came up with. Blah, 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 blah. Boom. Done. You could walk out with 5 videos on your phone or 5 Facebook Lives, and we could start to bridge that 700-minute gap immediately.
How about where to park? You go to LA County Courthouse, because there's places you don't want to park and there's places you want to park. Now it's changed, and I need to reshoot that video, but as I'm saying this out loud, and the truth is I don't park there anymore. I take an Uber because it's not safe in some of the places I go. But when I was parking every day, I knew where to go.
But Bill, that's an entire video. Listen, at the end of the day, sorry, Bill, you're just dropping gold here. At the end of the day, you guys, your job is to remove the scary that is keeping somebody from signing with you. That's it. If I'm going to go to LA County Courthouse and I start Googling and I start YouTubing where to park, how do I park, and I see Bill do a video that says, hey, you guys, listen, there are a couple of parts of this courthouse that are a little bit sketch adjacent. So one of the things I like to do is I like to go park about 2 miles away, and then I take an Uber in. It's going to cost you $4 or $5. You don't have to deal with parking. You can get dropped off right where you want. You can get picked up right where you want. It really is safe, especially for you ladies. It's really more important that you do that. That video will perform.
It does.
Because it creates trust between Bill, you, and the audience.
And the thing is, it doesn't take but going to court once to figure out how to do that video, but it sets you up as an expert. You go one time, you're an expert compared to the person who's never been there. It's just an amazing thing. Okay, we are going to run out of time at some point, so I can keep moving. And we're on number 3 of 9, and we don't have that much time. So, okay, number 3. One of the things one of the lessons I learned was the importance of having a lead magnet. Now, lead magnet, for those who are watching, is something that you offer to people that they want, a value, as a way to keep in touch with you. Now, sometimes people, offer a coaching program, $5,000, but you don't have the relationship yet. You have to start. You have to give them a sense of who you are. You have to audition for the job. But also, you want to get people into your network, watching your videos or whatever it is. So, lead magnet is a tool that you talk about a lot. In fact, when I said to Casey before we started launching, when we're done here, I'm going to send people to get more from you. Where you want to send them? He didn't say his website. He didn't say his Facebook page, because what's that going to do for him? He said to me, go to powernetworkingtips.com. And this is a great lead magnet, but it also is a great resource. If you haven't got this, I've probably downloaded it 5 different times. I've signed up for it like an idiot. That's great. I
appreciate that, because hopefully you do it with different email addresses. So in case you ever do unsubscribe, I still got you somewhere.
But it's good stuff, and it puts you in contact with the cases. So when he has a program, he sends you the information about the next program. Talk about the importance of lead magnets.
It is so incredibly important, and it's so funny you bring this up, because I was just talking with my best friend in the world is an agent up in Washington State, and we were going through his YouTube channel today, and I said to him, I said, B, you don't have a lead magnet. Nobody's signing up for your email list anywhere, so we can't even connect with them. He's like, yeah. So we went to his YouTube channel, and his YouTube channel, it literally says, hey, email me at my email address for my, I don't know, property calculator or whatever it was. Right. And I was like, you think that I love you so much that I'm going to watch that video, I'm going to copy your email, I'm going to go over to my Yahoo or my Gmail account, open it up, send an email and say, hey, please send me the thing that I can't remember that I'm on to 4 other videos by then. I said, if you just created a simple page like this that said, beescalculator.com, and you had people to be able to give you their name, email address, and phone number, that's all it takes, guys. Your lead magnet is just something to start the conversation, whether it's 25, all the crap that you put in these postcards, 25 ways to spring clean your house, or 13 things to do when the time zone, when you go back or fall forward in the time zone, or 17 resources in the Birmingham or the Cape Canaveral or wherever you are community. It is just something that somebody wants, we call it an ethical bribe. I'm going to give you this really, really cool thing in exchange for your information. You and I do this all the time. You're giving your email when you put it in your Facebook groups. You're giving your email address when you sign up for everything. Well, having a CRM system, every agent, I'm sure, has a CRM system. If we have to have that conversation, that's probably a different story. But
no, you have
a landing page so that somebody can get in touch with you. And here's the cool thing. Now, I'll tell you, when you have a lot of these out there, like this is the same thing that I give when I speak at events. This is the same thing when I'm on a YouTube video. This is the same thing when I'm on a podcast. So we have a lot of these things coming in. If I were to really sit down and call every person that puts their phone number in there, I would be on the phone all day, which would be awesome. My business would be flourishing. That just doesn't happen when you get super busy. But you guys, being able to have a lead magnet, it is something that starts the conversation where you can control the conversation. I stay up on all of these real estate things that you guys are dealing with all day long. You got MLSs and you've got big companies and big organizations. You've got all of these people that are all trying to sell you lead gen and all that. Going back to generating your own leads and being in control on purpose with intention in your own lead gen will remove all this nonsense of you having to pay to generate a bunch of leads that are nothing more than people that are kind of like surfing the internet. They go, oh yeah, I heard of probate. I might put my number. That's not a qualified lead. That's just somebody that's kind of interested. But if somebody watches Bill's podcast 4, 5, 7, 10, 40, 50 times, they're like, you know what? This is a guy who I want to be on his team. Like, I want to have a conversation about moving my agency over, or, hey, I have a probate situation or a probate question. Then they fill out that form. Then they contact Bill and get on his call. That's a qualified lead.
Now, it's interesting. The lead magnet I created was my podcast, this podcast that we're all watching right now. And if you want, and I think the way I would rephrase a little bit what you said was, you should put your best value proposition, the best tool you have to help people in your business. That should be your lead magnet, whatever it is that you do. In my case is probate and my podcast. Therefore, I have a sign-up page for the podcast. And when people get me and interview me, and I've been on other people's podcasts, and I get invited to speak all the time, I just say, well, yeah, go to probateweekly.com and sign up. And if you're interested, you get your email and your phone number. And then from there, we send them out various different marketing pieces to find out what they're interested in, how I can connect with them, opportunities to meet with me, and things like that. So again, it's just one thing.
The point is, Bill, what you've done is brilliant. Is you've taken something that you're already doing, you're already creating, you're already committed to it, and you're just offering that a value. And if anybody has been on any of your podcasts for any length of time, you always lead with value first.
Yes.
And because you have that intention, people are attracted to listening. If you got on this podcast and go, well, let me tell you the 37 reasons that you should, and you're an idiot if you don't work with me, that's a turnoff. But if you bring on guests and you're helping and you're educating and you're teaching people and you're adding a value, people are like, I like that guy. I can't wait to be on the next one.
I got to a point where I don't even really, I do because I think I'm supposed to tell people to subscribe, kind of. I don't do it regularly enough, as much as other people do. And I don't really encourage them to do that. Why? Because the name of the podcast is pretty obvious. If you want to get in touch with me, you'll figure it out. If you can't figure it out, I probably don't want to work with you. Like, that to me is a bar. If you can't get over the bar, then probably we're just not going to, like, I have people who call me and they want to do a video and they can't schedule the video like you did on Calendly link to stream or whatever. And I feel like, well, if you can't set that up, then probably I shouldn't have you on my podcast. Like, that's, to me, a minimalist. And it sounds cruel, but really, this is 2025. This is not 1987 anymore. This is not 1996.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, let's break this down. People want to work with people that have stuff going on.
Yes.
Right. We are in the 21st century. If you cannot figure out how to unmute yourself on a Zoom, or you cannot figure out how to use a Calendly link, then the reality is you're probably not going to survive unless you figure out and spend some education units of yourself learning something. Even if you go to YouTube, I don't know how to schedule a Calendly link. Okay. Or go ask Chat GPT to help you. But it's this, we've got to do the bar.
There's no excuse. Can I just say it? Because you're really nice. There's no damn excuse. Especially if you're a realtor, people expect you to know how to use technology. If you can't use technology, learn how to use technology. Don't say, well, I'm not technology forward. Figure it out. Like, it's not that, it's a lot easier than it used to be. I mean, I was using technology in the 80s and 90s when it was really, really hard. To this day, I still read Linux magazine to learn how to use cyber hack and different tricks and running Linux on a computer. You don't need to do any of that anymore. It's all, ZipForms is easy. SkySlope is easy. It's all really easy now.
Isn't it interesting that people will say, I don't do tech. I hate tech. Oh, technology scares me. It freaks me out. Here's what you do. Next time somebody says that to you, whether it's a customer or client or whatever, go, can you quick send me a text? And they'll pick up their phone and they'll send you a text. And you go, do you understand that 20 years ago, that phone was plugged into a wall and you're going, and you just used your 2 fingers and sent me a message from space. Tell me again how technology doesn't work.
I don't get why people don't love that other people do work for them. I don't get that. Like, and I tell people all the time, I'll do this, I'll do that. Like if I was talking to you and we might have some information about something we're working on together. And I say, well, I'll do A, B, and C. I don't do it. I email my assistant, who's a virtual assistant in the Philippines. I've never even met her. You know, I call her Michelle. I don't even really know what her name is and something in Tagalong. And I send her an email like 2 days later, it all comes all done the way I want, or I make a couple of corrections. Why would you not love technology? What is there not to love about other people doing work that you don't have to do or don't want to do? I don't get it.
It's very funny. This is years and years and years ago. One of my first business coaches said, make a list of everything that you hate doing.
Yes.
And so I made a list, and I can tell you exactly what was on the list. Number one, I hate with every cell in my body doing laundry. Hate it. Number two, I despise washing my car. I don't like getting wet. I don't like the soap. I hate it. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Right. All the way down to, I don't like figuring out what my email should be about. I don't like what the video title should be. I don't like posting on Facebook. Just make a list of everything you hate. And I will guarantee you 99.99 with a line over % of that stuff can be outsourced to somebody whose value is not $400 an hour, that you are better off paying somebody to do to
$5 an hour, $3 an hour,
whatever. My assistant Lloyd, he's down in the Philippines as well. He is like, first off, he makes more money than all of his friends. For me, I'm like, this ought to be illegal. And he's amazing because he gets to do, and he loves that stuff.
Yeah.
Michelle probably loves that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I refuse to do laundry. So it's very easy for me to go, okay, if my bill rate is $400 an hour and it's going to take me a half hour to do laundry, that's $200. Can I find somebody to do laundry for less than $200?
Yes. Yeah. Lifewithoutlaundry.com. I use it when my wife was sick in the hospital and I had to take over doing the laundry. I've never done laundry. I'm 66 years old. My whole life I did laundry once. I hated it. So my wife in the hospital and I needed laundry done. Life Without Laundry, you put it in a bag, they pick it up, they drop it off, fold it all, sort it all, smelling nice. That's as much as I do.
And if you don't have the money, if the next comment is, well, I don't make enough money to go to lifewithoutlaundry.com, which by the way is a genius domain name. Okay, then that's another conversation. Then now we've got a goal. Now we've got a game to play. What has to happen in order for us to create the amount of money for you to get rid of the stuff that you don't want to do so that you can go live your best life and go walk with your grandkids and go to the park and go on vacations and go swimming and go play racquetball and go do all the stuff you want to do so that you can actually have the life that you started in the first place to start this whole gig of business and entrepreneurship in the first place.
Sell more houses. If you sell more houses, all that stuff gets taken care of by somebody else. Otherwise you have to do your stuff. That's my incentive. I can't stop because I don't want to do any of that stuff. Okay. This has been great. And we also have a hard stop at some point. So I'm going to go to the next one, which is the power of video. But I think the thing I want to talk about is, because you can talk about it, but people who are on video, they want to hear all the details of your program. but the people are not on video now, where I was 6 years ago. And it's interesting you mentioned that, because I actually started doing a video, this podcast, on Facebook. And for various reasons, I found that didn't really work, and I shifted to YouTube for various reasons, and it's really worked really well. But the thing was, like everybody else in your program at that time, I was scared to get started. And you put a challenge out to us. And I'm the kind of guy, if I'm in a group and I make a commitment, I want to be the leader. I want to help people. I want to inspire people. And I want to take responsibility. Like an idiot, I said, you challenged us. I want you to do a video a day for 30 days. And I said, I could do that. Like, how hard it? And you just said, I don't care what it is. I could probably paraphrase. I don't care what it is. Something on video posted somewhere every day for 30 days straight. I said, well, I could do that. Like, that's not that difficult. And at the end of 30 days, I had my podcast now going on to video. And 6 years later, I have the highest rated probate real estate podcast in America. I've lost 3 more podcasts. So talk a little bit about the importance of getting people started. Now, I know in your case, you have a group dynamic that you kind of lean on or leverage with that. Talk a little bit about getting people started, that first 30 days and the 31st day. What's that look like?
Yeah. So this is really huge. And by the way, out of that same class, that same commitment, we have a client who started the same challenge the same day Bill did. She's now like 6 years later, and she has done a Facebook Live or a video day. Every single day, crazy. 365 days a year for the last 6 years. I think we hit year 7, July 31st.
Wow.
Here's the thing. I have another client. He was an investor. He was raising capital for real estate. And I was like, listen, you got to go out and start doing these videos. He's like, I'm overweight. I don't look good. You know, people aren't going to give me money, blah, blah, blah. I said, you got to go out there, walk in properties, turn your phone on. I don't even care if your face is on. Just say, hey, this is why I buy this. This is what I don't like. Hey, I would move the dumpster over here. Hey, I would move this beam over here. I remember one, they said, oh, we've got parking lots underneath here. We could push these in and make studio apartments under there. So the deal was, he would put it up on Facebook and then text me, and then he would immediately take it down. He didn't want to see himself on Facebook. Okay?
That's funny.
So he did it first day, and he was doing it like 2 o'clock in the morning because he didn't want to see himself on. I'd say, no problem. I was committed. I'm on board. One day he forgot to text me. And that's the day that somebody called and said, oh my gosh, I totally value that. I've got $50K to invest. Can you invest it for me? Okay. I have another friend of mine, real estate.
Oops, forgot to take it down. I got $50,000.
I have another friend of mine. He happens to be with EXP as well. Had this conversation with him. No, nobody's going to watch it. I don't have that many friends on Facebook. I don't really, I'm never going to do it. Challenged him. First day he did the video. First day he did a video on Facebook, and he was just like, hey, this is my name. I'm with EXP Realty, and I'm selling property in wherever it was. And literally, I'm redacting, obviously. And literally that day, somebody he had worked with 4 years ago called him up and said, I didn't know you were still in real estate. I'm ready to list. And he booked a listing right off that video. It is getting started. And here's the great news. The great news is your first 50 are going to suck.
Totally suck.
They're going to be
terrible. Oh, my God. When I look at the old videos, it just hurts to watch myself. Oh, my God.
Here's the thing. Your competitors will never make it to 51. Do you know, and this is a true story, and I might have the number a tiny bit off, to have a top 1% podcast in the United States today means you have 22 episodes.
Wow.
Most people, I'm going to start a podcast. They get all this stuff, and they don't even have the basics. They don't try it. They're not consistent. They're not committed. They never make it to 20 episodes.
And the more they prepare for the first one, the less episodes they do. When I started, I had an iPhone and I had a headset that went into my ears, and the lighting wasn't so good and whatever it was. And over time, as I was making money selling houses, I invested in more different technology and systems and procedures and whatever. You add things. But when I see something, when they launch day one with all the accoutrements, they have the fancy microphone, they have the headset, they have the intro and the outro, and they had all that stuff. I'm saying, it's just not going to last. It just takes too long to build to spend that money ahead of time. Unless you're some international personality, it just doesn't make sense economically.
Yeah, success loves speed. Literally,
yes.
I did a series of videos where I go on a walk. I live in Los Angeles, and I go on a walk between 5 and 6 in the morning. And I was out walking around one day and I started seeing all these businesses that I'm just like, man, these guys are not generating leads. They don't have QR codes on their windows. The phone number's not out here. There's no so I just literally I'm gross in a sweatshirt and a hat and a headset. And I'm like, hey, you guys, I'm in front of this junk removal trailer. Here's what I really like about this junk removal. They got it here, but they don't have it on the back. They parked it on a bad street. They should have parked it over here. These videos are very valuable for somebody that owns a junk removal business or a nail salon or whatever. You guys just start, even if you just do walkthroughs of the houses that you're going to do on Caravan or that you're doing on open houses. Like you guys as agents, people literally open their doors and beg you to come in their home to see what's for sale.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't have to be, and listen, I understand because there's going to be probably some ladies on here that say, yeah, but guys, you know what? You don't have it like us. We need to look pretty for the camera and all that. I'm like, cool. Here's the task then. Ask your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife to take you out for a nice dinner. Okay? And when they say be ready at 6:30, be ready at 6. Turn your camera on when you got your face put on and you're looking your best and do your videos for the half hour before you go out on a night on the town.
Wow.
Let's not overthink this, right?
Well, also, I'm a big proponent of doing them when it's convenient for you. Like originally, I scheduled my Probate Weekly at a time slot that worked for me. And then that time slot changed and I changed the slot. And then now I do pre-record because that works better for me. Even I can get ready whenever I want to. I have an episode to do. So I do think you can, if you really think about it, you can eliminate a lot of those impediments. But the key thing is the commitment. And I think the last part of that commitment for me, or the important piece of that, was the group dynamic, right? Because on my own, if you had coached me and said I needed to do it, I don't know. Would I have done it or not? I don't know. Would I have put you off somehow? Probably. I'm that kind of guy. But in a group, if everybody's struggling and we all have this problem, I stepped up. And I think for anybody else who's in that group, that's why at least 2 of us or 3 of us are, there's another one in the same group has a podcast that I see every week.
There's a lot out of that.
From that group, from people who never did a video together. I mean, I can think of a couple off the top of my head, at least 2 more. So yeah, that's the power of a group. And so let's wrap up a little bit with a chance.
Bill, it's about being in a group dynamic, and whether it's we have a mastermind, but so it's about being with a group of people that are all headed for the same direction and the same goal, where you can be held accountable and you can also hold other people to account that are committed and are in committed action to making a business. Like I want to work with people like Bill that are like, listen, I don't want to generate leads because of hope and hope is not a strategy. So let's control the strategy. Let's control the marketplace. Let's do things where we're creating assets. By the way, we haven't even talked about these videos produce leads for Bill while he's sleeping, while he's swimming, while he's playing with the grandkids, while he's out with his wife, while he's doing all this other stuff. The video that you may be watching or that you've watched before is working on his behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year until YouTube blows up.
It is crazy. My YouTube channel runs anywhere from 14 to 24 hours a day, and I'm working 4 or 5 at most. At most. I mean, really. And I'm just talking to people who I talk. And the funny part is, here's the other part. I'm just talking to people like you that I like to talk to. I mean, I've now got down to that, and I've built towards that. And I think the thing I want to make sure I leave anybody who's watching me is I built to this. This wasn't day one. This was a result of about 3-4 years of momentum working on a weekly basis. And Casey was the center of that. So let's talk a little bit before we wrap up. I promote your network riches program because I really wish everybody I do business with was in it, understood the material, and either on their own afterwards or continued with you on that, because the more good leads everybody has, we all win. Whether you're an attorney that I work with, or a real estate agent I work with, or a mortgage lender I work with, or a vendor of some sort. Talk a bit about the networking riches kind of dynamic, and then when's the next one being offered?
Yeah, so networking riches it's about a 2-day. We call it a 2-day, but it's actually really 1.5 days, and it's really kind of just a system because I like things that are system formula that are easy and they're very practical. I'm not a big theory guy. So we literally over a day and a half walk you through what events to go to. What are the things I need to do before I even go to an event? What do I do before the door opens to the event? What do I do from the door open until I leave the event. What do I do after the event? We literally help people create a year follow-up system within about 15 minutes. And so it is really like very like systematic, like, okay, are you going where your customers actually hang out, or are you going where you want to? There's cool if you want to go where you want to, but just going where you want to hang out or where your customers are hanging out, hugely important, right? How about things like, ladies, if you've got a purse, guys, if you got a fanny pack left over from the 90s or a Dob kit or whatever, put a little kit together that lives in your car. Put some dude wipes in there, some mascara, a hairbrush. Maybe you got a tie. Maybe you got some mouthwash, some dental floss, some Altoids. Chuck in the back of your car. Maybe you hang a shirt in there so that if you end up going to an event and you need some of that stuff, it's there at the ready. So it's really networking riches is really a philosophy on how to be able to get, like you said, Bill, the most return on that energy. I know there's return on investment, but I talk a lot about ROE, which is your return on energy. Right. If I'm going to spend 3 hours at an event, what is my goal going in and what am I actually coming out with? And so networkingriches.com will always tell you when the next one is. It's free to join. And then secondly, go back to Power Networking Tips. If you download Power Networking Tips, we're going to tell you all about it next one that comes up.
Yeah, once you get into Keisha's system, it's kind of like the Hotel California. Once you check in, you can never check out, and you don't. And I see it go by, and I pop in Networking Riches I try to almost every time we run it for a bit. Not that I watch the whole thing for a day and a half, but I usually capture a couple half-hour snippets because it just reminds me of what I'm working on, reminds me of the mindset and the energy, and kind of keeps me focused. So, Casey, just thank you so much for your guidance over the years, for your guidance to the community, the larger community of real estate people I deal with. And thank you personally for helping me build the business I've built. Thank you for sharing today with all the people on Probate Weekly. Really appreciate your contribution.
Well, and Bill, thank you. Thank you for bringing this content to agents and other people around the states here that are really interested in learning more about how to be an efficient agent at growing their own business, but also being a valuable resource for people to plug into when they've got questions about who they're running with, how they're running their business, and especially obviously with probate. It's one of the things that, I lost my dad 6 or 7 months ago, and you never know what probate is. You never know you need it. You never have any questions about it until you're in the thick of it. And then you're like, right. Oh my gosh. And so Bill, what you've done is been brilliant in helping educate not only agents, but also consumers that are a pipeline of people to get to know, like, trust. And I just know what you do, and I know how you treat people. And I know that you lead with your value and your heart first, and it's incredible. And it's been an absolute thrill and honor to be on here. And you guys, all I can say is make sure to subscribe to his channel, consume his content, get on his email list, and play with Bill. I don't know. Maybe you should go get the domain name. Play with Bill. a whole different words. But thank you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I have a friend who has Fund with Shannon. He's a lender. Fund with Shannon. I say, well, that's your lending channel. Then you have Fun with Shannon is your OnlyFans channel. So
yeah, exactly.
Casey, thank you. We can go on forever. Obviously, he's a fun guy. I appreciate having him on. Hey, thank you for joining Probate Weekly. If you sign up, you want to get regular episodes, email or phone, or don't. Love to have you on YouTube. If you like it, subscribe. Love to have you participate as well. As always, if I can help in a way, reach out, call, text, or email. probateweekly.com. I'm at Bill Gross Probate and social media. And as always, make today your best day ever. Thanks so much.